Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good. You know, it's game week.
Game week. It's different than any other weeks. We have a great show tonight. We're kicking off the college football season. There were some week zero games, and we'll mention a couple of things that we learned. Clemson and everyone else kicks off this weekend. We're going to actually break down some football. Me and Coach Jackson, we're going to put our coaches' hats on for a minute, maybe, our analyst hats. Talk a little typical football stuff, but still the most important stuff. We're going to make sure you know everything you need to know to have fun in the Valley this Saturday at Clemson. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of Greenville Sports Media Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, Greenville Sports Media is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts, the latest articles, and other sports media at greenvillesportsmedia.com, who can also be found on all forms of social media, just like the Fun Fans. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
Yeah, and just like you can find them, you can find some delicious wings at two locations in the upstate of Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer, South Carolina, and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont, just right off I-85 on the way to Clemson. Find them at RubensC.com. Rubens is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans.
That is correct. Okay, so I watched 3 games yesterday, Bailey. Did you watch any games yesterday?
Not really.
Bailey's got a lot going on. I got a lot going on, but my lot going on kept me in the house yesterday, so it kind of made it conducive to watching some football. But I watched the Iowa State-Kansas State game, Kansas versus Fresno State, is that right?
Yeah.
And then Hawaii versus Stanford. All right, so I'm sure you've seen some highlights and stuff, though, and seen the chatter or whatnot. So here's what I learned yesterday on week 0. First of all, that Iowa State-Kansas State game is called Farmageddon. Did you know that?
I didn't.
That's pretty cool. Fairly
So
fitting.
they played Farmageddon in Ireland.
Ireland, yes.
Right.
So that was another little piece there. But
Maybe
speaking
they're
of
all
Ireland,
potato farmers.
yeah, no famines during Farmageddon, I hope. They had plenty of rain. That's for sure. Okay, so also learned that the brewmasters in Dublin can put your school's logo in the froth of your Guinness. Did you see any of that?
I didn't.
They had the little Iowa, the I with the state, and the little Kansas State Wildcat head in the froth, the bubbles.
Wow.
Of the Guinness. So that was pretty cool. All right, now this is some serious stuff that we learned here. This was news to me, that a team will now be charged a timeout or a delay of game if there are no timeouts available in the event a player drops due to injury. Quote unquote injury is the whole purpose behind this, after the ball has been spotted. I call that the SEC rule. Did you know that was one of the new rules?
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I did actually.
Yeah. So no more. And you know, you and I, we've told kids, if you're hurt, you got to fall down, and that gives them the opportunity to not have to hop off the field and all this kind of stuff. But if you're really hurt, they're going to have to learn now, just don't get up from the pile.
Right.
And everything will be fine. So
yeah, if you're really hurt, don't try to get up, because if you fall down going to the sidelines, head coach is going to be penalized.
yeah, that's going to change things a little bit. All right. So the last thing I learned is that no one goes to Hawaii and wins, apparently.
No one named Stanford.
Good gracious. I mean, they gave that game. They had it, and they gave it away.
Well, you know, Stanford's situation, Frank Reich is the interim coach for a year.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, their coach got fired like late spring, I think, or something like that. And Frank Reich, who was the coach of the Panthers and the Colts, and I'm pretty sure he played at Maryland, maybe. I think he's the interim head coach for a year.
Well, Hawaii couldn't stop the run, and they decided to throw the ball, throw an interception. What a genius. All right, so anything else, Bailey? So you didn't learn anything new about college football? Okay, so that was yesterday in college football. But a lot has happened this past week at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, and if you've been following the show or you know Bailey or our kids started class. So I tried to get Grayson to go get a first day of class picture with the tiger, and she fell asleep. So I had to find a picture of the tiger and kind of make it work.
She was tired.
She apparently. But she's had a good first week, I guess. How about Whit have good experience with his classes this week?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Good deal.
Got to take him to the calculator tomorrow afternoon and meet him halfway or something.
And Grayson forgot her calculator as well. We had to send it over there with her cousins. So here they also took the class of 2029. Now that's being optimistic, putting all these first year kids out there and calling them the class of 2029.
Right.
Maybe kids graduate in 4 years nowadays because they go with they all show up with 20 or 30 hours, but
yeah.
And that part of the Paul is circled because that's where Grayson was standing, she said. So if we wanted to zoom in and try to find her, but so they took the picture of the Paul, and this will have relevance to something we'll talk about later in the show. We're going to talk about the new meet at the Paul after the game. So there is a bunch of people meeting in the shape of a Paul, all first folks. So that happened. And did you know Good Morning America was at Clemson this week?
I did, yeah.
So my nephew Reese, he's right in the middle there, pointing. He's the one pointing with his left hand, I guess is the way to say it. He went out there with I don't know, it was a small group of kids. It was mostly cheerleaders and whatnot, but a nice little segment on the state of. They were doing a 50 states in 50 days, similar to what we talked about on the show. ESPN Sports Center did something similar, and to focus to showcase the entire state of South Carolina, they decided to go to Clemson University and
boom.
That's right. Stand on the hill. So that was awesome.
That's right.
All right. So more importantly for the fans, the Clemson Athletic Department announced enhancements to the football game day. And if there's anything we're about, it's about enhancing the football game day experience. Right, Bailey?
That's it.
Okay. First one, not news. We're not going to read all this, but basically they are selling alcohol. Alcoholic beverages will be available for purchase at designated kiosks for the fall athletic events. Fans can review the detailed safety policies and procedures at ClemsonTigers.com, and they want to make sure that you know that Clemson has secured the necessary permits with South Carolina Department of Revenue, which manages the sale of. I mean, did we think they would get away with?
They should have tried to do it without the permit. That would have been great.
That would have been funny. All right. So next to definitely pigtail. Well, not that one yet. The designated driver program presented by the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. Now, some folks have been making fun of this one online, but I mean, it's an honorable thing to do. They're going to, if you say you're a designated driver, they're going to give you complimentary non-alcoholic beverages. So there you go. It's very similar to a lot of bars do that nowadays, right, man?
Right.
So very similar to a bar, but I'm not going to start comparing our Memorial Stadium to a club just yet.
Well, if I just get thirsty, can I tell them I'm the designated driver? How do they know?
I don't know. Check, make sure you have a driver's license.
But 8-year-olds walk up, hey, I'm the designated driver. Here's a free Coke.
Well, folks online were commenting that, that's going to be my mixer. So, yeah, kids. All right, so on to the good stuff. Gathering at the Paul. Okay, so we've talked about this before. It wasn't news that storming the field was going to get you a fine in the ACC now, but this is what Clemson has come out with for, hopefully avoiding the fine, maybe whatever. In accordance with the revised sportsmanship policy, gathering at the Paul will begin at the conclusion of the alma mater The fans should stay in their seats and they may access the field via the hill and the west stands once the alma mater is complete. I mean, that's it. So I timed it. The alma mater is 63 seconds. Now, do you think the band will play it a little faster now that folks are at least trying to wait till it's over to storm the field?
Yeah, but they don't go right into it.
So that's another question that is not addressed. You are correct. In past, folks would go out on the field first and then kind of meander towards the band, and then they would play. They're going to have to play that alma mater. When that clock hits 0, they better start.
No, they got to shake their hands, get the visitors off the field, play the alma mater. Then you can go out on the field, and I'll be in the car.
Do you think they're going to drag it out that long?
They should.
I'm not
to
saying
give
they
the
should.
Other team chances to get off the field.
They got 63 seconds. All right, I'm betting that they don't wait very long to start playing the alma mater.
Okay.
We'll see. And for a game like LSU, like everybody says, when that clock strikes 0 and we are in the winner's seat for the game Saturday night, it's going to be hard to hold folks from running on the field. Might just have to pay that fine that first time. But I do agree that it's gotten out of hand and folks need to calm down, and there needs to be put some kind of rails on it.
Right.
Speaking of rails, well, here we go. This is my favorite, my personal favorite. Handrails. OSHA. So apparently, most of the stadium was built before there were any OSHA regulations, but now fans will notice newly installed handrails throughout the lower deck seating areas to improve safety and accessibility. Now, as someone who has had 2 back surgeries, that's a winner right there.
Right.
I wonder how they got away with no handrails this long.
Well, they might have, when you do any kind of upgrades or construction, as you know, with schools and stuff, whatever you do, the facility has to be like brought up to code. Maybe
usually the entire facility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how they added the things they've added without having that. But anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm sure I'm not alone. All right. Cashless transactions at concessions.
Yep. This is important.
I don't think, is this new though?
Yeah. They've taken cash up to now.
Okay. So no concession stands within the stadium will take cash.
Better be ready to tap to pay.
Bam. All right, and then this single game experience. Clemson Athletics will again offer single game fan experiences, including personalized scoreboard messages and opportunities for fans to take pictures at the iconic Howard's Rock. I think that cost a few $100 for either one of those. Yeah, those aren't free, those single game experiences. All right, we're not done. And wait, there's more. This could be a favorite. The Novient Health Mamava lactation pods.
That's Novant.
Lactation
pod. I don't even know why we're covering this on our podcast.
Because it's one of the enhancements.
We know no one that's lactating that will be with us.
Well, I mean, you never know when you're at a football game and all of a sudden, you gotta drain them puppies.
Listen. That's out of bounds. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Just know that they're going to be there for your lactating pleasure. All right. And then now this is legit for real. I saw the Greenville Drive added this past season, and actually I researched this a little bit. All of Clemson's venues are going to be sensory certified venues, thanks to Cultural City. And this is where folks will have the opportunity to, usually children, to get some headphones or some fidget toys or something, because people say, why you come to the game if something like that overstimulates you? Well, sometimes it not as bad as other times, and those folks are able to come to the game as much as any. But if it gets a little out of hand, all they got to do is throw on some headphones or something, and they'll be fine. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when I was teaching, when I first started teaching, I had a girl in my class that every time, if I put a video in and the lights were off, if there were some flashing lights on there, she'd have to put her head down because she could possibly have a seizure.
Yeah, so hopefully that won't happen for sure.
Well, I
But,
think, the little babies wear the noise canceling headphones.
yes,
I really think the Tiger Cub should wear them if it gets too loud.
that
It's just my idea.
that would be, and it would make some other kids, if they needed that, it wouldn't make them feel so bad if they saw the
Right.
Cub wearing it. That'd be
Yeah.
that's cool.
Join
Good
together.
thinking. All right, look at here. We're all about enhancing the game day experience as well. And you know what else we're all about enhancing is your energy level. Go to w.gg, enter promo code FUNFANS for 10% off your W Jitterless energy drink. Okay, moving on. We're going to talk some football here.
X's and O's.
Yeah, everybody's on the
Jimmys and
edge of their
Joes.
seat. So we're going to limit this, so because our show's only about 30 minutes. We don't have time to spend a whole hour-long show talking about every team in the top 25. We're going to talk about the teams that made it in the top 5 of the preseason polls, and we're not going to get into how we feel about preseason polls. I think, Bailey, me and you both feel about the same about preseason polls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And there's 6 teams total because, Notre Dame's in one and Georgia's in the other, or Clemson or whatever. So just going through, everybody knows Texas landed in that number 1 spot. So Texas is getting all, and I have notes. I'm like a professional. I have notes. And there's 2 reasons why Texas is getting all this hype. And his first name is Arch and his last name is Manning. Bailey, what do you think about the Texas being number 1?
Well, I mean, if all the experts think so, we'll see, because they play at the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes next week. And they're actually an underdog. So the number 1 team in the country is an underdog.
Yep. They are the underdog. So I think Texas is going to be really good. They may win the SEC. They played for the SEC title last year. Right. Wouldn't surprise me if they play again and win it again. They're going to have a really good season. And I guess, I don't know why they wouldn't be number 1 as much as anybody else.
Right.
If Arch is nearly as good as everybody says he is, maybe they'll win it all. All right, number 2 is Penn State. They're number 3 in the coaches poll, number 2 in the AP poll. Penn State, according to my notes, it's their highest preseason ranking since 1997. And basically they got this because they return a ton of talent, which is, that's where these guys keep up with. They know who's coming back and all this kind of stuff. So they should be good, et cetera, et cetera. Well, but I'm going to tell you. Go ahead.
They lost their defense coordinator.
I know this.
And I'm sorry. Penn State's Penn State. They're pretty good. They're going to be really good at home because it's so loud. But until they beat Ohio State, they should never be ranked in front of them.
It's almost like they get way more recognition than they should. And they never live up to it. I hate it because I don't have nothing against Penn State. Love Penn State. Go for it. Win it all, whatever. But I just don't. Yeah, they don't live up to their expectations ever.
Well, they've kind of been like the 3rd team in the Big Ten. There's been Ohio State, Michigan, and then Penn State.
Yeah. So let's get up there in your conference first. All right, next, number 3 in the AP poll, number 2 in the coaches poll, those Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national championship. Now, 2 years in a row, $20 million has gotten you a national championship, has seemed to be the price, but I think more folks are paying that now. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm pretty sure Ohio State's paying it again. And they have a freshman quarterback and big-time turnover on defense. So is there any chance they're going to be as good as they were?
They lost a ton of talent to the NFL. Now, they got guys that can play.
Right.
Because they're going to, like you said, they're going to pay them. But, I don't know. These polls are ridiculous in the preseason anyway. The post-spring top 25, the preseason top 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll end up, no matter what happens Saturday, if they can lose to Texas. One thing about Ohio State, they can lose to Texas and then win like all the rest of their games, and they'll be right back in the top 5, by the end of the season, because you know, only Oregon. They play Oregon this year, but I think they have them at home, so that'll be different. And Oregon's nowhere. I don't even know where they are in these polls this year, so don't know what happened to that. All right, number 4 in the AP is Clemson. Number 6 in the coaches poll. And we'll talk about them later. So we're going to skip to Georgia, who is number 5 in AP poll, number 4 in the coaches poll. Now, so that's kind of, they're the ones that have been year in and year out at the top of everything. So how did they fall? So I say fall, the 4th and 5th instead of number 1 and 2. Why? Why is Texas? I think it's Arch Manning's got Texas ahead of them, but I think Georgia's going to be as good as they ever are. Don't you?
Well, I mean, it's just the ebb and flow of college football. Clemson. Remember when Clemson was ranked every year at the top? You just can't win everything all the time. But Georgia's going to be Georgia. Every SEC team's going to be an SEC team. It is what it is.
Pan out very similar to last year for sure. Georgia and Texas in the SEC championship game again. All right, so last one on this list is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Once again, they're number 6 in the AP, but they're 5th in the coaches poll. And they start off with I think we mentioned this about a month or so ago with the matchup against Miami, which 20 or 30 years ago, that would have been a really big deal.
Oh, well, not 20.
Was it that one?
It was about
40.
Almost between 35 and 40 years ago. It was the Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah.
40 years ago, it was 85, 86, 87, 88. Those were the years that both of those teams were rolling.
So are they going to be – I think they're going to be about the same as they were last year as well. They're going to they'll make the playoffs, make a run. They're good. I mean –
how can they not be good? Like they have the recruiting bases nationwide.
Yeah. Just like always, plenty of everything. And
I like their coach. He's young. He's energetic. I mean, I like that guy.
Yeah. They know what they're doing.
Marcus
and the thing
Freeman.
is, there is some validity to what folks say about the SEC and you playing a team, getting beat up week in, week out, and everybody gives ACC a hard time. Nobody has an easier I'm going to say weeks off against lower tier teams than Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they'll have 2 or 3 legit games on their schedule. And that's basically, they're going to the playoffs fresh and clean, ready to rock and roll.
How about this? Florida opens up. Florida's ranked like 16th in the country.
Yeah.
They open up with Long Island.
That's a drink, right?
Long Island had a Division I football team, and they're going to travel to Florida and get beat 1,000-0 for a paycheck.
That's right. It's all about them Benjamins.
It is when you're trying to get established.
Well, there's some folks trying to do away with that. I don't know how that's going to help, but next year the SEC is got to play 9 conference games, and they're trying to make it which I think, not to start a whole nother conversation about how to fix the playoff scenario. I think just real quick, the year so everybody that was in the playoffs one year should have to play somebody else in the playoffs the next year. They should hold a spot in the schedule, because I know they do these schedules years and years and years out, but they should hold a spot in the schedule, and that way it'd be your conference plus at least one other game that would, nobody could argue if you're going to try and play a team from the playoffs the previous year every year, that you made the playoffs. So anyway, that's a different conversation. All right. Speaking of the ACC, we've already talked about Miami. There are 2 other ACC teams that are ranked. Are they the only other 2 ranked in the top 20?
Well, no, Louisville's ranked in several polls.
Louisville. Yeah. I just left them off the list. Sorry. Which I don't do. I don't, no offense, Cardinal fans, but I don't know that for time purposes, we'll just skip over Louisville. SMU. They got the same quarterback, right?
Yeah, they got they got a great receiving core. They're good.
They're good. They're going to be just like last year. They're going to have to come to Clemson during the season. Good. That might be the only difference. But yeah, they're going to be good. And then Miami, we're talking about them playing Notre Dame. I'm not picking them to beat Notre Dame, but they're supposed to be good, which they're kind of like we said about Penn State. Unfortunately for those fans, they get great players and they got good coach supposedly, and they're supposed to be good, but they don't ever seem to live up to the expectations for sure.
Well,
but they're preseason number 10.
Yeah, but they've got it together.
Well,
the only problem is nobody goes to their games because it's off campus.
Well, and so they got Carson Beck, the kid transferred from Georgia. Talked about that on a show about how maybe he transferred for his girlfriend. But they had a great quarterback last year. And I don't know that Carson Beck is a step up or a step down from Cam Ward.
Right.
I don't know. That would be just two different type players maybe. But all right, we're going to talk about one other team before we get to the two teams that are going to be playing at Clemson this Saturday, and those are our friends down there in Columbia. Speaking of Columbia, there was a scare down there. Did you hear that there was a report of an active shooter in Columbia? But what we're hearing now, what I'm seeing just coming over the wire, is that it was a false report. So
yeah, I saw it on the news briefly.
Yeah, unfortunate to be scared, but I'd rather have somebody mistaken for a shooter than an actual shooter. So hopefully everything's good down there with our friends in Columbia. But they are 13th in both polls. So lucky Gamecocks. And
they open up Sunday against Virginia Tech. They're 8-point favorites over the Hokies.
Yes. And they have the same quarterback. We know he's good.
Yep.
They brought in 50. They brought in a lot through the portal. I think they might be, once again, it's preseason and they got to prove it on the field, but they might be the third or fourth best team in the SEC. I'm just going to say it. And we're talking about being behind Texas and Georgia and teams like that. So this could be the year, even more so than last year, where our game against them at the end of the season has postseason implications. It literally could be the very legit national championship type caliber matchup, unfortunately, down there in Williams-Brice. So looking for them to have a good season personally. What do my notes say? They're the potential CFP dark horse. See? There you go.
Yeah.
All right. On to the two sets of Tigers real quick. What do we think of LSU?
I mean, it'll be LSU, and that smug Brian Kelly will be over there on the sideline. And, I'm pretty sure he was on the sideline when Notre Dame came there last time. Maybe
Yes.
Not. Yes, he was.
So, once again, we're supposed to be a little critical, and I don't mean this to sound so bad, but my impression of his career is that, he's got to know some coaching, obviously, to do what he's doing, but he must be a better interviewer than an actual coach. He gets these. How did he even get the LSU job? What did he do at Notre Dame to get a big time job like LSU? Notre Dame's been better without him.
Yeah, it's just, you might be right, but he's been paid a lot of money.
Yeah. He definitely knows something. So we'll give him some credit there. So, but they're bringing back a big time potential Heisman candidate quarterback.
Those two best quarterbacks in the country going at it.
That's what the
Nussmeier
everybody is saying. So that'll be.
But he's been banged up, James. He's been banged up.
I have heard he might be. I
think they're keeping it pretty close to the vest.
Might have to take a Tylenol or two.
He might
on the sideline.
Have to take a shot or two. Bam.
Well, because as we say, that's a segue into talking about Clemson. Our front four is going to be, in my opinion, and what everybody's saying and what it should be, as good a front four as we've ever had. And that's saying a lot because Clemson's had some pretty legit front fours.
Well, yeah, the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Went off. Look, so the defense, can I talk about my scouting report real quick?
Let's do it. It's time.
I made the comment years ago that we used to get all these big time recruits when Tommy Bowden was coaching, and we got them for years, but we turned the corner when we started being really, really good on the defensive line and the offensive line. Okay. Our offensive line is stupid good. Okay. I watched a whole podcast by Eric McLean from the ACC Network, who played at Clemson. And he just went one by one through them. And they've got like 8 guys with experience and that are really good. And they're really well coached. Defensive line, they're 8 deep, 10 deep. Okay. If you can rush the passer with 4, you can play coverage with the rest of them. You don't have to send linebackers from all over the place, blitz free safeties, blitz corners to get pressure. Then you got 7 playing defense and not 5 or 6. But if you can protect the quarterback and run the football, you're going to win. You win the game up front, and we are loaded. And we have the best receivers in the country. We have the best quarterback in the country. The only question mark is kicker, punter, secondary, but even running back. How many running backs have they played over the years? A ton.
See, that one of my points was going to be, I'm not worried about running back because nobody talks about Keith Adams Jr.
Yeah, and Randall's been named the starter, but they got 5 guys that can play.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I agree with you. The secondary, and when you say kicker, you're not talking about place kicker, are you?
Yes, he struggled. If you've read anything, he's had a terrible fall practice.
Oh well.
And the punting game, Dabo made a comment that he's got 3 guys that can kick it 65 yards, but they can also shank it out of bounds.
Yeah, this will be the first time our boy Swanson hadn't been punting in 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So, yeah, punter and secondary. That definitely. But you say.
Even the secondary still got good players. They're just a little inexperienced at 1 or 2 spots.
Inexperienced. But just like you also said, we have the type of linebackers that can drop back and help.
And good, too.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Those guys are good. And with the front 4, they should be able to drop back and help if they need to. So, all right. Well, there's a report from the Fun Fans. So now you know everything you need to know about.
I will say this: the schedule is not easy. It's not. They play LSU. They play at Georgia Tech. They play at North Carolina. Chapel Hill. We don't know what they got up there.
Don't know.
But the game is sold out, and the ticket prices are through the roof. At Louisville on a Friday night is a bad setup.
That's bad.
SMU at home, and then in Columbia. You never know. The Gamecocks could be 5-5 at the time, or they could be 9-1. You never know.
Well, and I watched not the whole game, but I watched last year's Pitt game. Right. We could have lost. We probably should have lost that game.
We never play well at Pitt.
And then Louisville, we lost to Louisville last year. That should have never happened. I mean, you know this, and everybody knows this, but you got to do it. You can't just say it. Dabo, I heard him say today for the first time, our biggest problem last year is we never played well we played top caliber football for 2 quarters,
right?
Almost every game, but we haven't played 4 quarters yet. If we put it together this coming year, I think we'll be good to go, and it'll be an awesome year. All right, speaking of awesome, a couple of other things that happened this week. Bailey's dad is doing well after quadruple heart surgery.
Yeah.
I put that on social media, and my wife Melanie rang the bell. Now, just FYI, that means she finished her chemo, her particular treatment. Her surgery's coming later, but she's finished with chemo. She's down there sick right now from what happened that day when she had got to ring the bell, but there's no bell at our house when she starts feeling better about Tuesday or Wednesday. So you ring the bell when you or people depending on their treatment. So that's we didn't know either. So unfortunately we're learning more.
Does she have a bell she rings and you run over there when she needs something?
Yeah, that's what it is. Been watching football and but she does a lot of sleeping. So she's a professional sleeper even before this. So now
right. Well, she needs a rest.
Yeah, she does need some rest. All right, we're going to do a live show every Sunday now that the season has started. Next Sunday, we'll be coming to you from a special location. This Saturday is also Coach Corso's final prediction on College Game Day. That's a big deal coming up this Saturday. That's kind of sad, but, I mean, things change. Time, can't stop time.
He's 90. He's 90.
So, but we hope to talk about that when we come back next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. About tailgating. Still try your best to follow the rules at Clemson, right, Bailey?
That's right.
Just wait till the alma mater's done.
Just wait.
Just wait. And we'll be back next Sunday. College football is here. Thanks again for checking us out. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media, and please share. On behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thrilla Entertainment, Greenville Sports Media, and Bailey Jackson.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.